ॐ विद्यारूपिणे नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ शुद्धज्ञानिने नमः। ॐ पिनाकधृते नमः। ॐ रत्नालङ्कृतसर्वाङ्गिने नमः। ॐ रत्नमौलये नमः। ॐ जटाधराय नमः। ॐ गङ्गाधारिणे नमः। ॐ अचलवासिने नमः। ॐ महाज्ञानिने नमः। ॐ समाधिकृते नमः। ॐ अप्रमेयाय नमः। ॐ योगनिधये नमः। ॐ तारकाय नमः। ॐ भक्तवत्सलाय नमः। ॐ ब्रह्मरूपिणे नमः। ॐ जगद्व्यापिने नमः। ॐ विष्णुमूर्तये नमः। ॐ पुरातनाय नमः। ॐ उक्षवाहाय नमः। ॐ चर्मवाससे नमः। ॐ पीताम्बरविभूषणाय नमः। ॐ मोक्षदायिने नमः। ॐ मोक्षनिधये नमः। ॐ अन्धकारये नमः। ॐ जगत्पतये नमः। ॐ विद्याधारिणे नमः। ॐ शुक्लतनवे नमः। ॐ विद्यादायिने नमः। ॐ गणाधिपाय नमः। ॐ प्रौढपस्मृतिसंहर्त्रे नमः। ॐ शशिमौलये नमः। ॐ महास्वनाय नमः। ॐ सामप्रियाय नमः। ॐ अव्ययाय नमः। ॐ साधवे नमः। ॐ सर्ववेदैरलङ्कृताय नमः। ॐ हस्ते वह्निधराय नमः। ॐ श्रीमते मृगधारिणे नमः। ॐ वशङ्कराय नमः। ॐ यज्ञनाथाय नमः। ॐ क्रतुध्वंसिने नमः। ॐ यज्ञभोक्त्रे नमः। ॐ यमान्तकाय नमः। ॐ भक्तानुग्रहमूर्तये नमः। ॐ भक्तसेव्याय नमः। ॐ वृषध्वजाय नमः। ॐ भस्मोद्धूलितविग्रहाय नमः। ॐ अक्षमालाधराय नमः। ॐ महते नमः। ॐ त्रयीमूर्तये नमः। ॐ ॐ नागराजैरलङ्कृताय नमः। ॐ शान्तरूपाय महाज्ञानिने नमः। ॐ सर्वलोकविभूषणाय नमः। ॐ अर्धनारीश्वराय नमः। ॐ देवाय नमः। ॐ मुनिसेव्याय नमः। ॐ सुरोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ व्याख्यानदेवाय नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ रविचन्द्राग्निलोचनाय नमः। ॐ जगद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ महादेवाय नमः। ॐ महानन्दपरायणाय नमः। ॐ जटाधारिणे नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ ज्ञानमालैरलङ्कृताय नमः। ॐ व्योमगङ्गाजलस्थनाय नमः। ॐ विशुद्धाय नमः। ॐ यतये नमः। ॐ ऊर्जिताय नमः। ॐ तत्त्वमूर्तये नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महासारस्वतप्रदाय नमः। ॐ व्योममूर्तये नमः। ॐ भक्तानामिष्टाय नमः। ॐ कामफलप्रदाय नमः। ॐ परमूर्तये नमः। ॐ चित्स्वरूपिणे नमः। ॐ तेजोमूर्तये नमः। ॐ अनामयाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदाङ्गतत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चतुष्षष्टिकलानिधये नमः। ॐ भवरोगभयध्वंसिने नमः। ॐ भक्तानामभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ नीलग्रीवाय नमः। ॐ ललाटाक्षाय नमः। ॐ गजचर्मिने नमः। ॐ गतिप्रदाय नमः। ॐ अरागिणे नमः। ॐ कामदाय नमः। ॐ तपस्विने। ॐ विष्णुवल्लभाय नमः। ॐ ब्रह्मचारिणे नमः। ॐ सन्न्यासिने नमः। ॐ गृहस्थाश्रमकारणाय नमः। ॐ दान्ताय नमः। ॐ शमवतां श्रेष्ठाय नमः। ॐ सत्यस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ दयापराय नमः। ॐ योगपट्टाभिरामाय नमः। ॐ वीणाधारिणे नमः। ॐ विचेतनाय नमः। ॐ मतिप्रज्ञा सुधाधारिणे नमः ॐ मुद्रापुस्तकधारणाय नमः ॐ वेतालादिपिशाचौघ राक्षसौघविनाशनाय नमः ॐ रोगाणां विनिहन्त्रे नमः ॐ सुरेश्वराय नमः श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानंद परमशिवाय नमः। Next offering is the offering of the dhupam. The offering of incense wards off the negativity and rejuvenates the air with deep incenses. This offering hails from the traditional forms of offering the incense smoke to the sacred river Ganga on the ghats of Varanasi. Also the intimate way that the pujaris care for Andal Devi's hair with incense smoke in Sriviliputtur is one of the best examples of living and serving the Archavataras, manifestations in deities. Bhagavan is Devi Parashakti herself. Let us invoke the highest sacred sentiments and offer the dhupam. Devadevottama devata sarvabhauma akhilanda koti brahmanda nayaka Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Dhupa Priya Dashanga Gugula Samanvita Dhupam Avadharaya Om Dhurasi Dhurvadhurvantam Dhurvatanyo Osman Dhurvatitam Dhurvayam Vayam Dhurvamasvam Devanamastasnitamam Vapritamam Dushnatamam Pandhitamam Bahutamamahritamasi havirdanam trigumhasvamakhva mitrasya dvatakshusha prekshemabhirma samvikha matva higumdishum Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Bhagavate Shri Nithyananda Paramashivaya Namaha Dhupamagrapayami. The next offering is the offering of the Panchadipam, the offering of the lit lamps. In the Arunachaleshwara temple, the Bharani and Kartikai Deepam festivals signifies the creation of cosmos and the final journey of everything back to Paramashiva. Bhagavan is Arunachala himself. Let us invoke the highest sacred sentiments and offer the Panchadipam. Devadevottama devata sarvabhauma akhilanda koti brahmanda nayaka Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Deepa Priya Panchamukha Deepam Avadharaya Om Uttipya Svajata Vedo Patnan Nirritam Mama Pashukristamadhyama Vahadivanam Tadisho Disha Mano Higumsi Jata Vedo Gamashvam Purusham Jagate Abhipradagna Agahi Shriyama Paripataja Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Bhagavate Shri Nithyananda Paramashivaya Namaha Panchamukha Deepam Sandarshayami. The next offering is the offering of the Mahanaivedyam. The Padayal Seva is an offering of food items in a large quantity placed on a traditional banana leaf. This offering is a tradition to Devi Parashakti Mahamariyamman. Those who have Mahamariamman as the Kuladevata offer the Padigal Seva in celebration of any success or any prayer for success. It is in the Padigal Seva, the warm food is mixed before Mahamariamman and the priest takes morsels of the mixed food and shows the food to Devi morsel by morsel for her to consume. Seeing Devi Parashakti really partaking the food is the sacred sentiment behind this offering. Bhagavan is Devi Parashakti herself. Let us invoke the highest sacred sentiments and all of the Padiyal Seva. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Avignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Narikela Khandadvayam Nivedayami. मधुवातारतायते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नः सन्तोषधीः मधुनक्तमुतोषसि मधुमत्पार्थिव्रजः मधुद्यौरस्तु नः पिता मधुमान्नो वनस्पतिर्मधुमागुमस्तु सूर्यः माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु नः मधु मधु मधु. अमृते अमृतोद्भवे अमृतवर्षिणी अमृतं श्रावय श्रावय स्वाहा. ब्रह्ममेधवा ब्रह्ममेव मधुमेधवा ब्रह्मदेवानां पदवीः कवीनां ऋषिर्विप्राणां महिषो मृगाणां शेनागृद्धानाग स्वाधितिर्वणा नाग सोमपवित्रमध्ये तिरे भन्ने हगुंसशुचिश्च वसुरन्तरिक्षद्धोता वेदिशदधतिर्दुरोणसते. ओम अमृते अमृतोद्भवे अमृतवर्षिणी अमृतं श्रावय श्रावय स्वाहा. श्री सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानंद परमशिवाय नमः. महानैवेद्यं निवेदयामि. The next offering is the offering of the Pancharati. The offering of Deeparadhana is the offering of flames in various towered lamps. The Jyoti or lamp has the unique ability to dispel darkness. When we light these towered lamps and offer them to our beloved deities, the lamps awaken and align our energy center with the darshan of the deities. The upliftment of our energies and senses through combination of lit lamps and the rhythmic tunes of the Tirkailaya Vadyam take us to a surreal experience of deity's darshan and transports us to the authentic experience of the Kailasa ambience. Devadevottama Devata Sarvabhauma Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam Deeparadhana Priya Pancha Deeparadhanam Avadharaya. Om Somo Va Etasya Rajyavadatte Jo Rajasan Rajyo Vaso Mena Yajate Devasuva Methani Habigumshi Bhavanti Ya Etavanto Vai Devanagum Savaha Sa Evasmai Savan Prajachanti येन पुनस्तुवन्ते राज्याय देवसुराजा भवति न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न तत्र तारकं नेमा विद्युतो भाति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानंद परमशिवाय नमः। सर्वोपचारार्थे सर्वमंगलवाप्यर्थे सर्वापराधक्षमापणार्थे कर्पूरनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि रक्षां धारयामि। The next offering is the offering of the Vedokta Mantra Pushpanjali. The offering of Vedokta Mantra Pushpanjali is a conclusory offering of the Mahaguru Puja, chanting the Veda mantras that declare the conscious sovereignty of the supreme point of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam. We offer our love and gratitude at His Divine Lotus feet. देवदेवोत्तम देवता सार्वभौम अखिलांड कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक श्री सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूप भगवत् श्री नित्यानंद परमशिव पुष्पांजलि प्रिय पुष्पांजलिम् अवधारय।
ओम योपां पुष्पं वेद
पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति।
चंद्रमा वापां पुष्पं
पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
अग्निर्वा अपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यो अग्निरायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वा अग्निरायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आयुर्वा अपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यो वायोरायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वै वायोरायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
अथो वै तपन्नपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यो मुष्यतपत आयतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वा अमुष्यतपत आयतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
चन्द्रमा वा अपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यश्चन्द्रमसमायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वै चन्द्रमसमायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
नक्षत्राणि वा अपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यो नक्षत्राणामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वै नक्षत्राणामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
पर्जन्यो वा अपामायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
यः पर्जन्यस्यायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति।
आपो वै पर्जन्यस्यायतनम्
आयतनवान् भवति।
य एवं वेद
योपामायतनं वेद
आयतनवान् भवति। संवत्सरो वा
अपामायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। यः संवत्सरस्यायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति। आपो वै संवत्सरस्यायतनम् आयतनवान् भवति। य एवं वेद योऽप्सुनावं प्रतिष्ठितां वेद प्रत्येव तिष्ठति। ॐ तद्ब्रह्मा ॐ तद्वायुः ॐ तदात्मा ॐ तत्सत्यम् ॐ तत्सर्वम् ॐ तत्पुरोर्नमः। अन्तश्चरति भूतेषु गुहायां विश्वमूर्तिषु त्वं यज्ञस्त्वं वषट्कारस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं ब्रह्मस्त्वं प्रजापतिः त्वं ददाप आपो ज्योतिरसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः सुवरो यो वेदादो स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परस्य महेश्वरः। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानंद परमशिवाय नमः। वेदोक्त मंत्र पुष्पांजलिं समर्पयामि। मंगलं कल्पवृक्षाय मंगलं ज्ञानदायिने सदाशिवाय श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वराय मंगलम्।
मङ्गलम्
श्रीविद्याम्बायै मंगलं कामदायिन्यै सर्वमङ्गलदात्री नित्यानन्देश्वर्यै मंगलम्। मंगलं गुरुदेवाय मोक्षमूलाय मंगलम्। परावतार नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे मंगलम्। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपाः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ तत्सत्। सर्वं भगवत् श्री नित्यानंद परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु। ॐ नित्यानन्दम्।
नित्यानंद 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 नित्यानंद।
जय गुरुनाथ भवभयदाता ब्रह्मानंद नित्यानंद गुरु गोविंद परमदयाळ आनंद रूप नित्यानंद
जगदोधार
नित्यानंद
जगदोधार
नित्यानंद
सद्गुरुनाथ
नित्यानंद
सद्गुरुनाथ
नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद नित्यानंद। சிந்தூரம் குங்குமம் செவ்வானம் அவ்வானம் திகழவர் கதிரின் உதயம் தேசுமிகு மாணிக்க திரியேறு கமலம் அச்செங்கமலம் அஞ்சு பவளம் மந்தாரம் மழை நாளில் வரும் இந்திர கோபம் அவண்டூரு மலையின் அரவம் மான்மதம் செங்குருதி போல் மலரும் மாதுளம் மாதுளம் சிதறும் முத்தம் செந்தீயின் வண்ணமெனவே சொல்லும் மேனியும் செப்பரிய அழகு வடிவும் சிங்காதர பேர் சொல்லும் ஏழையே அறிவிலும் என்றென்றும் திகழ அருள்வாய். இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. நோக்கும் திசை தோறும் நூபுறத்தாள்களும் நூல் போல் ஒசிந்த இடையும் நொடித்தோறும் புதிதான எழில் கொள்ளும் நுவலறிய திருமேனியும் வார்குங்குமக்கச்சு மார்பும் அம்மார்பினில் வாடாத மலர் மாலையும் வைரமோடு நவமணி பயங்கும் மங்கள நானும் மனம் வீசும் இனிய பொலிவும் காக்கும் கரங்களும் அங்குச பாசம் கரும்புவில் மலர்கள் ஐந்தும் கனிவாயில் மூரலும் கருணை பொழிவிழிகளும் கனகமணி ஒளிரும் முடியும் ஈர்க்கும் சுடர் முகமும் இருவிழி கழிப்பயாம் எங்கெங்கும் காண அருள்வாய். இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. சீரார் பெருந்துறையில் சிவயோக நாயகி சிவகாமி தில்லை மன்றில் தென்குமரி பகவதி திருவானை காவினில் திகழும் அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரி. காரார் மதிர் கச்சி காமாட்சி அங்கையர் கண்ணி செந்தமிழ் மதுரையில் ஆரார் சிவன் தோலும் தமிழும் விளைபவள் சமயபுரம் அதனில் மாறி தட்டாமல் கடவுரில் பட்டரு கருள் செய்த தையலபிராம வல்லே. ஏறார் மழை கண்ணி என்னறிய நின் கோலம் யாவும் எமை ஆள வல்லவோ. இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. பனி தங்கு நிலவு போல் பால் போல் பளிங்கு போல் பட்டொளி நிறைந்த வடிவம் படிகமணி மாலையும் ஏடும் தரித்து யாழ் பயின்றருளும் நான்கு கரமும் புனிதங்கள் யாவும் பொறுத்த வெண் தாமரை பூமேல் விலங்கு பாதமும் பொழுதெல்லாம் என்னும் என் பழுதெல்லாம் போக்கினர் புலமை தர வேண்டும் அம்மா. கனி தந்து மலர் தந்து கவி தந்து தொழுவோர்க்கு கண் தந்து காக்கும் அரசே. கலைஞான மகள் என்ற நிலையான புகழ் கொண்ட கருணை மயமான பொருளே. இனி தங்கு தடையின்றி யான் பாட நீ கேட்க இதயம் கனிந்தருள்வாய். இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. மாதவன் ஸ்ரீதரன் மதுசூதனன் துளசி மாலை மார்பன் கேசவன் வைகுந்தன் அச்சுதன் மலை மேலும் வாழ்கின்ற மறைநாயகன். தாதவிதழ் மலர் கூந்தல் ஜானகி மணவாளன் ஜனர்தனன் தேவதேவன் சாரங்கன் நாரணன் தாமோதரன் கோதை தலைவன் ஆழ்வார்கள் நேசன் மேதினி அளந்தகிரி விக்ரமன் திருமகள் விளைகின்ற பதுமநாபன் வேறு வேறான பெயர் நூறு நூறாய் விரியும் மேகவண்ணன் தங்கையே. ஈதன வரைந்து யாம் போதுதற்கரியனின் இசை பாட மொழி ஏது கான். இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே. రాగిణి మనమోగిని சூலினி சுவாசினி சுமங்கலி சுந்தரி துணைவி திரிபுர சுந்தரி ஜோதி ஸ்வரூபிணி சுதாமினி ஹம்சினி சும்பதி சுரமர்தினி சாலினி சனாதினி தருணி கல்யாணி சிவசங்கரி சாருகேசி சாம்பவி கலாவதி தருமவர்தினி जननी सामुंडी देवदेवी गात्यायिनी केसरिय अभिरामि ब्रह्माणि गायत्री पिरिसूडी मोय्यम पेरुमाट्टी मीनाक्षियिने केसरिय अभिरामि ब्रह्माणि गायत्री पिरिसूडी मोय्यम पेरुमाट्टी मीनाक्षि इணையடிகள் போற்றி போற்றி இறைவியனை ஆண்டொரு நித்யேஸ்வரி நித்யபுரி வாழும் உமையே குற்றத்தமிழ் கொம்பன் குற்றம் மறைக்கணியாமல் காத்து நின்றாய் வெற்றி தமிழ் காண மேகமே நவீனையும் மேத
himself as he is going to be gracing each and every one of us for the live Nithyananda Satsang. I'd like to invite all of the viewers to come and please see and share the latest news from on the ongoing events and the agreement and the agreement and the recognition of the United Nations of the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, just in Uttamottama Mahapaksha Guru Puja that was conducted by the Nithyananda Paramashivam Devalayam, but prior to that, we had just been witnessed, we had just had seen and imbibed for ourselves some of the latest witness. We had just had seen and imbibed for ourselves some of the latest developments regarding the recognition of the UN, who has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The UN, who has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And we were being guided through by Ma Nithyananda Swami and Ma Nithya Pranapriyananda about the freedom struggle of Kailasa, the sovereign nation, Hindu nation, Hindu civilizational nation that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. And we were also being able to see the latest development where the UN has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now I request if the NTV operator one can project the link where the UN has officially recognized Kailasa for its ongoing work to eliminate femicide in India, and femicide specifically against Hindus. we'll just be projecting that link. I encourage each and every one to go to the link, see for yourself about this this latest development, an extremely exciting news where the UN has recognized the persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa. And among the persecuted communities and the leading advocates for eliminating crimes against women has recognized Kailasa, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has listed Kailasa as one of the persecuted communities, as one of the marginalized communities who has literally been victim at the hands of the anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces. So in just a few minutes, we'll be projecting that link. I request all of the viewers to go to the link and share this link in all of the social media platforms. Let us spread the word and let us do our small part in ensuring that this Hindu Holocaust, the genocide of Hindus for thousands of years, comes to an end, finally, by being recognized in the international platforms, in the international audience. Through this report that the UN has published on its webpage for the UN Special Rapporteur for against the acts of femicide in various different populations, UN has recognized how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the foremost leader to eliminate crimes against women, especially Hindu women. Yes, as you can see here, we have the link projected of where the UN Special Rapporteur for acts of femicide is listing Kailash Union and Kailasa as one among the persecuted communities, and who has seen and recognized the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for his work of bringing an end to the crimes against the Hindu women in India and the Hindu women all over the world. And in so many different ways, as you can see here, under a list of the persecuted communities, Kailasa is listed there, officially recognizing what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone, the persecution he has undergone. Now, over the last more than 2 decades, continuously the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been an advocate for the equal and infinite rights of all genders, and without discrimination, any kind of discrimination against any caste or background, religious background, any race or gender or sexual orientation. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been leading and initiating each individual Hindu into and empowering each Hindu into living a empowered Hindu lifestyle. But the anti-Hindu militant forces were directly against this, because this was against their agenda to continue oppressing and subjugating the masses, subjugating the Hindus whom they were directly looting and profiting off of. Yet, over the last 2 decades, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has worked continuously so hard in order to ensure that the victims of crime and the victims of gender-based violence have a voice. And that is why today the UN has officially recognized and seen and given a voice for all of the victims of violence, victims of gender-based violence against Hindu women and against the women of Kailasa. And in so many different ways, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has worked in order to report these crimes done against the women in an international audience, has done so many different things in order to bring the research and studies of undertaken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to analyze exactly how the victims of femicide and gender-based violence are being treated. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has brought so many concrete measures which he has taken personally and brought Kailasa and revived Kailasa to take up the mission of improving the support to victims and any targets and vulnerable populations of femicide. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also ensured to report the good practices and the challenges of everything when it comes to femicide against Hindu women. And also, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continues as well to report to the international audience and to continuously advocate for the thousands and millions of Hindu women who are continuously being subjugated, oppressed, and undergoing gender-based violence around the world, only if they are Hindu. As you can see here, this is the official report that the United Nations has published, and where it specifies the crimes and violence that has been attacked against the women of Kailasa. And though this report only names just a few of the women of Kailasa who have been through so much of violence, still there are millions who have not had their voice heard yet. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continues to work to eliminate the crimes done against women and allow justice to be served in some way. Now, by empowering the female orders of the Sovereign Order of Kailasa, whether it is the Rudras and Rudyakanyas, the Sannyasinis, the Brahmacharinis, the Krama Brahmacharinis, or the Bhairavis, the Yoginis, everyone, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been actively helping the targeted individuals who are targeted for femicide and gender-based violence. And these specific lineages of endangered lineages of ancient of Hindu women are actually targeted for simply for their Hindu lifestyle. And not only that, over the last 2 decades, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has continuously been empowering victims and the targeted populations who are vulnerable to femicide and to gender-based killings and more different types of violence. And not only that, concrete measures have been taken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in order to support and to heal the victims of violence and ultimately to prevent femicide. And we can say that among so many different leading organizations and so many different people, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the foremost advocate and foremost leader working to eliminate the crimes done against women. And we've seen, for example, in so many of the ancient sovereign Hindu nations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived just because it is Hinduism that he is reviving. So many attacks have been launched against the women of these Adinams and Sarvagnapitas and these ancient sovereign nations, these ancient kingdoms. And whether it is in Pavlakundru, in the ancient city of Tiruvannamalai, or in Chennai, in Trishulam, or whether it is in the ancient Hindu kingdoms of the Tanjavur, Tiruvarur, and all of these places, these primordial adinams, which were established by Paramashiva himself, that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. In every single way, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been working to empower the women in each and every one of these by providing a Hindu ecosystem where they can be empowered to live their most infinite possibility. And we can see some of the most devastating attacks, whether it is in Pavlakundru or Tiruchulam or in the media against so many women, directed attacks in order to sexualize and subjugate women and absolutely dehumanize women and Hindu women specifically, and even the sannyasis, the Rudrakanyas, and all of the yoginis, everyone. To attack them is ultimately an attack against the entire Hindu ecosystem, and ultimately to use them as and weaponize women against the destruction of the entire civilization. Now we can even see some of the extremely brutal and mortifying footage of the attacks that went on in Trishoolam and Pavlakundru and so many other places. The various evidence that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally worked so hard in order to voice out, to bring the international attention and ensure that the victims of violence, of gender-based violence, the victims of so many millions, the voices of so many millions of women is heard, at least in some way, in the international audience, where they have undergone so much and yet still not having a platform to voice out and to share and to heal from what they have gone through. Now, if we see the attacks against the Adinams specifically that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived, there are several female-only monasteries that were entirely attacked simply because they were ecosystems which were meant to empower Hindu women and which were meant to enrich the Hindu women to live their most infinite possibility. And across every single Adinam that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revived, continuously relentless persecution has been launched against them. If we see the attack in Pavlakundru, for example, over a series of just a few months, the entire Adinam was absolutely destroyed and the women sexually assaulted and the deities absolutely abused. The women were then illegally arrested, not even for any crime, but simply because they were there standing to protect the deities and protect the ecosystem. Yet they were absolutely physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and some of them brutally raped. As you can see here, this is the mortifying footage of the sannyasis of Sovereign Order of Kailasa and the Hindu women who stand guard to protect the Hindu deities and to protect their entire ecosystem, who are just saving and standing with their lives to protect the Hindu ecosystem. Yet they are dragged, physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and even some of them brutally raped. We can see here the destruction of the entire monastery of Pavlakundru in 2017. And these brave Hindu women, these brave sannyasis who took up the lifestyle as a sannyasi and took up this life in order to serve the whole world, serve the community, serve the whole world with the sacred sentiments of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, were absolutely dehumanized, raped, and violated to the most extreme. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism over the last 2 decades has been the foremost leader to work to eliminate the crimes against women and Hindu women specifically by ensuring that the Hindu women and their stories, their incidences of victimization and their experiences are brought out to the international audience. And today, we have seen how the UN has officially recognized what these women have gone through. And whether it is even the attacks against the Trishulam Adinam in 2017 in August, where literally women were stoned, cars overturned, where the women were brutally raped in front of the public. And there was so much done to destroy the entire Adinam. And a raid of 300 anti-Hindu militants had trespassed and destroyed the entire Trishulam Adinam, which was a female-run monastery that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was reviving in order to empower Hindu women. In that circumstance, we saw the brutal rape of our sister sannyasis. We saw the literal stoning of Hindu sannyasis, the destruction of property, and the most brutal violence that people have ever seen in this day and age. Cars being overturned and made sure that there was no way to escape. And literally each and every one of us being made to hold on, protect ourselves, hide ourselves for days inside of, without any current, without any form of protection. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally ensured that the crimes done against us, the women of Kailasa, whether it is the sannyasis or the Rudrakanyas or the yoginis, in every single instance, to make sure that our voices and our hardships, our experience of extreme suffering does not go unnoticed and made invisible to the whole world.